as much as there's a lot of risk taking in being an entrepreneur, there are also advantages of being an entrepreneur, right? So let's look at these advantages. When you are an entrepreneur, you are your own boss and you're not answerable to anyone but yourself because you own the enterprise. Whereas when you are an entrepreneur, you'll be answerable to your employer, right? And then number two, there's an entrepreneur is his or her own boss, like I've said, therefore much more secure than an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur will normally create jobs for others through their business enterprise, but an entrepreneur can be fired at any time, be retired, retrenched within the organization. So there's no like security, like job security. But unlike for the entrepreneur, there's security because they own that. So it's theirs. But if they choose to let it collapse, it's up to them. But initially, they own it, they have security over it. Then, independence in decision making. An enterprise is usually independent from any outside interference in the running of their business affairs. On the other hand, an entrepreneur is dependent on instruction and thinking of their boss. Sometimes, as much as you are innovative as an entrepreneur, you work under strict instructions. There are a lot of do's and there are a lot of don'ts. So sometimes your imagination, your creativity is actually limited when you're an entrepreneur. Unlike when you're an entrepreneur, when you think of an idea, you sit, you think over it, you research on it, then you can actually implement it. Then there are number four, there are uncertainties. An entrepreneur is a person, all the resources and decision making, they are therefore determining they are therefore like, sorry, let me repeat this again. An entrepreneur, they own all the resources and they make all the decisions that they have to make. They are full in control of the resources and also the finances. And they do make their own decision in the business. So you are certain as an entrepreneur what's the next move from here. Unlike when you're an entrepreneur, some of this information you have no access to it. So there's that sense of uncertainty when you're working for somebody because you don't know what 2023 has in store for us. Maybe the policies are changing. Maybe they are going to retrench some people. Maybe they are going to trim on their human resources, all those things. So you have that uncertainty, and sometimes it just brings down the working morale. Then, number six, when it comes to income and profits, an entrepreneur owns all the income and the profits that the enterprise makes. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur, you only get a salary, perhaps a small bonus from the person you're working for, but the rest, it goes with the owner. I would want to give you an example. You know, why I stopped being in full-time employment. I was working for this company and we were doing litigation of overdue accounts. So people would go and borrow on hire purchase, and when they fail, they'll be handed to our department, which was an accounts litigation department. Then we'll make a follow-up of them, execute them, get the money back, with interest on behalf of the company, and life goes on. So this other year, that company, it recorded 3,000. Yeah, it was 3,000%. Get me? Not 1,000, not 100, 3,000% turnover and 3,000% profits. This was 3,000% profits. And you know what they did? Us guys were the bottom. We were taken out for a braai and like something like lunch. We had lunch. Then our needed bosses, they got money, which was quite a lot. And the second line managers, these are the junior managers, then the middle managers and the top management, they got cars for them, like luxurious cars, right? So like we're so excited going for the braai and stuff. Then I had a cousin who was working for the top management. Then my cousin just told me what I did, the difference. We were actually doing the work, the running of, the going, the chasing of people. And we brought in that 3,000% profit. We were only taken out for a braai. The guys who were busy in their offices making phone calls, just phone calls, and endorsing their signatures on the papers that I would have, worked on, or giving me permission to go to court, giving me permission to go out, just their signatures. They got them cars. And I was frustrated. Up to now, when I think about it, I hate being an entrepreneur, because most of the time you get peanuts, yet you do most of the work. That's how I ended up going into full-time entrepreneur, and now I'm part-time entrepreneur, because I really feel I don't want to be exploited by anybody. So that's my story there. I hope you learn something about it. Those who are full-time entrepreneurs and they're taking business like a side hustle. So it's up to you. From what you're going to discuss, you actually get to choose what you really want, right? Then the next point, we're going to move on to gender. In entrepreneurship, anyone, whether male or female, you can start a business of your choice. Whereas in employment, certain roles or position, they are specifically designed for specific genders. Though these days there is no such, but trust me, they are still, like, they say that, but when you get maybe a certain role as a woman, it can be really, it can really be difficult for a lady. I don't want to go into that, but there are problems associated. Or sometimes even as a man, when you are given a certain role, it will be very difficult for you to work within. But when in business, you can do any business that you want. And one thing I've noticed, like some certain businesses that are said they should be done by women only. If a man comes in, trust me, they'll do great. Or vis-a-vis, there are some certain businesses that are dominated by males. So you, as a as a woman, when you go and you start to do the same business, trust me, you will go a long way. Because myself, I'm a risk taker. I've tried like penetrating businesses that are meant for men. Trust me, you will make it, because you'll be outstanding being the only female figure there. So men will be thinking, oh, this lady is daring. When it comes to contracts, they'll first push them to you to see, hoping you fail. You get it? Then you make it, and they'll say, okay, So some gender isn't really considered when we come into business. Then age discrimination. An entrepreneur can be of any age. Whilst an entrepreneur, you have to be usually over the age of 18 years of age. Because I know somebody's arguing, can children be entrepreneurs? Yes, they can be. Like me, my daughter, when she was in grade 5, you know what she did? She actually came and said, Mommy, I want to start a small business. And I was, okay. Then she was saying, Mommy, can you help me draw up a business plan? Then I said, all right. What is it that you want to be doing? And she said, I want to be making bracelets and necklaces, and I'll be selling them at school to my friends and also at church. Then I said, okay, so where are you going to get the raw material? She told me that the beads could be bought in China Mall or Pep. Then I asked her how much. She told me the amount. We did a business plan. I asked her, like, after you make, how much do you intend to sell them for? She said the price, but the price was just like a giveaway. Then I helped her, no, because we've bought this, we put on this plus our time, so you have to charge this. Then she started like making a bracelets. During her spare time, she'll make it my bracelets, design them, and then after that, she'll take them to school, sell them. And I was telling her, my daughter, when you are selling this, never ever sell these things on credit. So should sell her things on cash, and then at one point started actually selling them on, like, you could give her like half, then she'll give you, and then after some time you pay. So entrepreneurship, it starts. Being an entrepreneur, you can be of any age, right? You can even see like some other kids. Like I think I come from a family where we like being entrepreneurs. I've got my brother's child. She was actually selling ice cool. I don't know the name, as ice cool or cool marks, something like that. She was making, like, she was selling until the mother had to get the same machine she started making, and then the daughter will be selling to the friends. So entrepreneurship has no age discrimination, unlike entrepreneurship, or where you're supposed to be employed, because usually they want people who are above the age of 18 years, right? So these are the difference that actually differentiate an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And we also looked at the characteristics of an entrepreneur that makes them different from an entrepreneur, right? So so in summary, we can say, as we talked earlier, the term entrepreneur can all be defined as an art of creating or developing a business through innovation, creativity, progressive imagination, and risk taking. The keyword in this definition is skill, right? Take note. Developing innovative creativity, progressive imagination, and risk taking initiation. So the above keywords in the definition of the word entrepreneurship defines the fundamental characteristics of components of an entrepreneur. From the keywords, it is very clear that the concept of entrepreneur calls for the ability and desire to discover new things, the skill or being high, resourceful, the desire to constantly want to make improvements, and having an artistic mind, and always attempting to craft strategies for success. So in entrepreneurship, it all focuses about development, being innovative, creativity, creative imagination, and having the ability to take calculated risk. Right. So now we move on. Now we have understood the concept of entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur, the advantages. So now let's move to the developing of entrepreneurship competencies and attitudes, right?